Hello and welcome to my channel Happy Hours. In the last video, I have discussed about the stimulus, GCF, GFCF, ICUR. Today I am going to proceed with the human capital formation, social capital formation, sustainable development, green GDP, GNH, in environmental curve, carbon tax in India, and carbon border tax. So let us start with the first topic, which is the human capital formation. Expenditure on the education of health, skill development, etc. of the people so that they can be developed as a human resources is known as the human capital formation. The next topic is the social capital formation. Connectivity, unity, interrelations among the people. Many a times it becomes productive for the business and entities. We can understand by this that even the YouTubers are having some subscribers and they are going to contribute in the capital of that person. So the productivity is increases by this. So we can understand by this the society connectivity and everything is going to help you in the contribution of the productivity. Now we are going to proceed with the next topic, that is the sustainable development. This concept given by the Brundtland Commission which was appointed in the year 1983. The title was Our Common Future. In the year 1987, they gave the report. In this, they said the intergenerational equity in the resource use is a sustainable development. Means the present generation must be equal to the future generation regarding the use of the resources. Now we should understand what is the intergenerational connectivity. First we should know what is the inter. Whenever the term inter comes, it means there is the need of at least two commodity or two state or two people to compare. Like if you are going to compare the interstate trade, means you are going to compare in between the two states, and if somebody is giving the statement that interstate trade is improving, it means the trade among the two states is increasing. Means we need at least two entity. Now the sustainable development is about intergenerational equity only. Here the present generation are more powerful because they are only effectively controlling the economic resources because they are only present now. Those who are coming to the future, they are not having any control because they have not yet playing in the game. Now GDP is increased due to because every country is following that we should increase the GDP of our country, which leads to a competitive federalism. And GST is the best example of a cooperative federalism. Niti Aayog is also an example of it. The cooperative means the central unit and the federal units are cooperative to each other, and central should not superimpose on the state. The state is understanding union's goal, then only the same goals can be achieved. Like when we have the GST, and this was supported by both the union as well as the state. So because of that, India got a country got more and more revenue, which leads to the productivity and high support in the business. But in the competitive federalism, when we are talking about this kind of federalism, the states are going to compete with each other, but the competition must be healthy. In the present day, when we are leading to development, it is the problem for the next generation, as we are going to use the resources in the very high level, and this is the issue generated by the sustainable development. So use of the resources should be less, or it should be under control. It should not be exploited. But right now this is not the condition. The present generation is overusing the resources. Now we should know what is the inclusive development. Inclusive development come in with the intergenerational equity. The inclusive development related to this, where we are talking about only one generation. Then the comparison is between the rich and the poor, and we have to reduce the gap in between them. The person who are poor, they are not going to take part in the development because they are not having the enough resources. But the people who are having the, the more power, more money, they are only going to take part in the resources using, so they are only the contributor. So we have to reduce this gap, and then only we can achieve the inclusive development. Now, the sustainable development is related to intergenerational equity type issue, whereas the inclusive development is related to intragenerational equity type issue. By this, all I want to just tell you about the sustainable development and its relation to the generation, whereas the inclusive development and its relation to the generation. Now, we should know the next topic, which is green GDP. The market value of GDP minus the estimated value of environmental loss during the production of GDP is known as green GDP. Means whenever we are doing a production, we are just removing this fact there is a loss to the environment also. And if we are going to add that, what is the loss, then the market value of any product is going to increase. So, in other way, we can say when we are creating a GDP, production is not done in the isolation. We need to monitor the environmental loss also. We should calculate that and put a value for that and deduct it from the total value of GDP. The remaining part will be called as the green GDP. In India, the term of green GDP was first used in the year 2009. The government said that this concept would be used from the year 2015 onwards. Now it couldn't be used up till now. It was the concept, but it was told by Jairam Ramesh when he was the environmental minister. He gave this proposal in the parliament that let the G of GDP be called as green, but it never happened. So we should proceed toward it. We should try to make it assurance that we are not going to harm the environment in the higher value. Now we should know the next topic, that is GNH, or we call as gross national happiness. The concept given by the king of Bhutan, it is based on the following four pillars. One is sustainable development, second is conservation of the environment, third is preservation of cultural values, and the last one is good governance. Now we can understand this, that income is not going to give you happiness in the in the direct mode. We need some intermediate medium. So it will need some planning. Means first you are going to have some saving, then you are going to plan, and then you are going to make some investment. For all this process you need some time, and whether you will be able to enjoy that in that time is not secure. So, what the suggestion was by the king of Bhutan is that let us first focus on the discipline in how to use the resources. So, we should use the concept of sustainable development. We should protect the environment, follow the cultural values. It means that when you should protect your parents, you should care for your parents, and so that the parents are going to be feeling, there will be a feeling of security also, and because of this will lead to happiness. That's why the parents are saving for the future. They should have the security for them. So, and there is the need of trust also. People are not safe. That's why that is a symptom of the bad governance also. So by this we can say that if by maintaining all these things, sustainable development, conservation of environment, preservation of cultural values, and good governance, people can achieve to the happiness. Now we should know what is the environmental Kuznets curve. This, in the curve, it is also known as the upside down U also. Here the it tells that what are the economic development and its side effects. Whenever there is a development, there will be a pollution, and it will be, if it is a primary stage, then the pollution will be little lower, but soon when it is going to reach the stage of under semi developed, then the pollution will be highest. And when the countries are going to become the most developed, at that time they are thinking that all people, they are going to use the product as the services, and the services are going to produce less and less pollution. By this, the pollution curve is going to come down. So this was the thought of the Kuznets, and he put as the curve. But there is a fact is that each development stage needs a structural transformation. So occupations are going to be shifted from the one sector to the another, from the primary to the secondary to the best, the one where there, which is we can call the best developed country, where they are going to use the services as their products. So when then the each person's capacity is also, income is also going to increase, per capita income is also going to be increased, and the pollution will be under control. Due to this, the government also become more powerful, and because if the per capita income is going to increase, the tax collection is also going to be get increased, and the government can spend more and more money on the tree plantation. And the carbon taxes can also be imposed on people, because now they are having the capacity to pay that. After a certain point, the pollution will also get started decreasing. And by this we are going to understand that we have to reach that stage when there the carbon emission or the pollution production going to decrease. Now we are going to talk about the carbon taxes. An indirect tax to be imposed on the consumption of the production of those goods which emit CO2 in a big amount. It is largely imposed as on fossil fuels like coal, petrol, diesel, etc. Maximum effort does not mean maximum welfare. We can understand this by the example of a mother. Whenever a mother is cooking something for you, for a kid, they are cooking and thinking that they have done the best effort to make the child happy. But it is not always the case that the child is happy with the food. So it means the maximum effort never lead to the maximum welfare. If the child is ultimately not fully happy, it means the maximum welfare has not yet achieved. So more production does not mean more welfare. It means whenever sometimes there is a production of something which is not required by the market due to certain reason. It can be any reason. So it means the production is not going to lead to the consumption also. And if it is not in the under the consumption, it means they are not going to be a part of the capital also. One area of market failure does not consider environment as a cause. So the market price is usually lower cause. They are not taking environment cost into their account. So the government has to enter it and has to impose a particular tax so that the market price will become higher. If the price is higher, people are going to consume that particular product little low. Like if you are going to put taxes on the petrol, it is the assumption of the government that the people are going to reduce the use of the petrol. Now the role of the government to move the market towards the social things, and market is never going, because the market is itself are not going to think or consider the society. So the consumer must be efficient in the consumption. Means if I am using the coal, I know that is going to come to an end after some time. So I should try to save that for the next generation. And one more thing we should understand, that the government should not hate the market, because the market is the place for the people where they are getting happiness, because they get everything of their own choices. So the government should not hate the market, they should try to rectify them. Now we are going to understand what is the carbon tax in India. We have never heard that the government is composing or imposing some tax on the people as a carbon tax. But according to the economic survey 2014 and 15, there is no explicit carbon tax in India. But the following taxes work like implicit carbon taxes, which are: one is the central excise duty on petrol, diesel, etc., and the second one is state sales tax, which is VAT on petrol, diesel, etc. These taxes are non-refundable. So there are some countries which are asking for the green bond, which means you have to spend your money on the green resources like plantation, like wind and in other things, renewable industry, and you are going to put your effort on that. Now, what is there is a new concept come to the market, that is the international tax, that is the carbon border tax. It is imposed by the European Union on the basic countries. They are planning to impose it on these countries by the year of 2026, where on the carbon intensive import items like cement, fertilizers, iron, steel, etc. They are saying that they are going to impose this tax so that they are going to remove the problem of the carbon leakage. And we should know what are the basic country. The countries are Brazil, India, South Africa, and China, which are against this tax. According to these countries, they are saying that European Union is creating an excuse. They are, because they are taking all these from those country who are producing this, and they know that for the production many of the companies, they are coming to India or to these countries, because the rules are not very strict on the carbon emission or the pollution emission. So these companies are coming to these underdeveloped countries so that they can produce more, and after producing these commodities, they are importing it to the other countries, especially to the European Union and the developed countries also. So what they are thinking, that the European Union, they want to stop the companies to import or to come to these countries and do the investment. So each are having their own opinion. So but the basic thing is that these countries are trying somewhere to stop the investment in the basic countries. So we have to try to reduce the carbon emission somewhere. And then we are having another topic that is known as the net zero carbon, where the total carbon CO2 emission minus total CO2 absorption to be zero. Means soil, we can do that, like if you are producing CO2, you should be somewhere, it should be consumed also, like this by the soil or the forest or by the sea. So we can implant more and more plants, which or trees we can say, which is going to improve our carbon absorption. So by this I'm going to conclude my video. Thank you.